shortly. He is not quite here yet. But right now I am being joined by my lovely girlfriend, Mace. Hello, Mace.
Hello.
How are
Hi.
you this week?
I'm good.
Cool. Let me get some music going in the background real quick. Alright. Music by Bird Calls. Thank you so much for letting me play your music in the
Ooh,
background. Alright.
I like bird calls.
Bird Calls is awesome. Once this podcast goes up on YouTube, I will throw his details in the description. You can check him out there. He makes great music.
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of anywhere, Spotify, YouTube, maybe YouTube, Apple Music, but all music platforms. Bird Calls, 2 words. All right, so
Hold on. First of all, Skinny, what is this
I
picture?
updated it.
Why? The first one was much better than this.
Was it really? I don't think so.
I do appreciate my high cheekbones and like how distinct my face looks.
I think you look wonderful.
Thanks.
Anytime. All right,
Yours
so
is so good. Yours is so good.
well, my profile picture on Xbox is also so good. I feel like I did really good with what I was given. You actually used a picture of your real life face for your gamer pick, you fool.
Are you saying my real life face isn't good?
That's not at all what I'm
Hmm?
saying. I'm saying
Hmm?
it's a lot
That's
harder to capture the majesty of your real life face than it is a dog throwing
Alright.
up spaghetti.
Yeah, whatever, fine, sure.
Right before we went live, I got a response to my story from a Big Follows bot on Instagram.
Um,
I didn't even
cool.
know I didn't know they
Instagram
were
had big
international like that. Yeah.
followers. That's great.
Yeah. All right. So, Mace, the game you and I played this week was Spiritfarer. We sort of couched it. We'd hand it off between the two of us. I guess it's. You were saying it is co-op, like you can play
You
with
could
multiple
do
people.
co-op, yeah. Online co-op. Um, but it's kind of silly. One of you is just the cat and you can actually talk to people, but you can do everything else.
I see. Well,
It would be interesting to see if you could switch off characters, though.
yeah.
It's like one person could stay at the boat and do everything. The other person can go talk to people.
Oh yeah. Well, we were planning on playing again next week. Do you want to try
Hmm.
out the online co-op component, or do you want
No, not really.
to? Okay.
I want to do what we did last time,
All
so I
right.
can have the
Sounds good.
dog sit on our lap.
Oh yeah. Oh man. That dog. It's a big dog. We'll see. All right. Oh, that does remind me. I did add a bunch of new channel point goals semi recently. So if you haven't been
Mm.
in the Twitch within the past like couple weeks, there are some new channel point goals. You can do some fun stuff. Get me to dog's barking. Um, get me to flip my monitor. Get the dog to sit on my lap. Get me to recite poetry. Whatever. But
Poetry.
I also updated the Master of Games and donation setup. So every $10 donated, you get to pick a handicap for me for the game that you've declared as Master of Games. I have a command where you can see some examples, but it would be stuff like crazy control schemes or my goodness, that dog. I will I will be right back.
Hello, Twitch. Yep.
All right.
Skinny, you're back.
Sorry. Oh goodness. Yes, I am back. All right. My apologies for my loud dog. But yes, there's new stuff.
Um,
Attempting to make it a little bit more engaging, more interesting, and not have the opportunity for what happened with our last closing achievement and just a miserable Halo 3 stream.
um. Oh, do you have to use like the handicap the whole time you're playing?
Yep.
Because that could be pretty miserable too.
It could be, depending on what it is, which is why it's something that is intended to be agreed upon beforehand. Like the whole, like in the Moobot thing, it's like, hey, your handicap has to be approved by Skinny before
Nice.
it's
Okay,
allowed.
but like I feel like changing the control scheme that would be tough.
I
That would
mean, it
be
might be tough
miserable.
at first, but I mean, I feel like the idea is it would.
Uh, I just hate learning new games.
I learn like 5 new games every week.
Yeah, I learned how to play Plants vs. Zombies this week.
Nice. Oh, but yeah, back to Spiritfarer. Let's see. Let me check my notes. I was very surprised by the gameplay loop. I thought it was going to be all about talking to people,
Hmm.
doing a quest or two for them, getting them satisfied with their lives, and then passing their soul on to the afterlife or whatever.
Right.
But it ended up playing out more like almost like Mass Effect, and the the companion quest, or like a companion quest for an RPG, where you're going about a different game, and then every once in a while, a companion will be like, "Hey, can you do a quest for me?" You go,
Yeah.
you do it, and then go back to doing the main game, and for another like
Hmm.
2 to 3 hours before they hit you with another request.
Right. And the main game being just build.
Right? It's like,
Like, there's really not a main game that I have noticed so far.
well, it feels like what I have observed Stardew Valley to be, where you've got like a little
Okay.
piece of property and you're building it up, turning it into like a self-sufficient source of
So like
resources
like
for you.
Animal Crossing.
Yeah, well, Animal Crossing and Stardew Valley are basically the same game.
I see. Okay.
Um,
Um, I forgot. Go ahead.
cool. But yes, it's all about, you got a little garden, you got a kitchen, and then keeping your NPCs' meters all filled.
Mhm.
You gotta keep their mood up, because then they'll help around your house. And it feels like the main game is the boat, right? The boat that you're
Mhm.
on that's got all of your points of interest, all of your veggies and your stove and your houses and all of that. Because the only reason, other than like narratively, like the only reason that you need NPCs to be in a good mood is that they will then do chores for you if they're in a
Right,
good
'cause
mood.
it's we're not like turning them in.
Right. I think we've only done one like recurring quest for the snake lady, and then
Right.
one like side quest for Gwen in our
I
like
feel like that was a pretty
five
big
hour
quest
stream.
for Gwen.
I wasn't there.
Oh, right.
You did the big
Okay.
quest for Gwen.
Yeah, I did the big quest for Gwen. I was excited at first whenever I saw that there was like the chat options like oh hug, food, give, yada yada that thing. I thought we were supposed to like figure out what this individual person wants most and then like find a way to give it to them. You know, like I
Mm.
thought we would have options to like learn about them and figure out what they need and then do it instead of them just telling us what they need and then
Right, it's sort of like a guessing game. Like you give them a bunch of food until they say it's their favorite, and then
yeah, but
you
even
know that
if you
that's
find their favorite then like yippee. Like it doesn't do a whole bunch because they're gonna eat whatever food you give them if they're hungry.
well. It I don't know, because it kind of depends. Like Gwen would not eat the same thing twice,
Right.
and then
She's
wouldn't
just a
eat
bitch.
like anything green, and then the snake lady wouldn't eat any meat.
That's just called being vegetarian. It's very common.
Well, sure, but I'm saying like you couldn't just give them anything. But
Right,
it did
right.
eventually devolve into I had like 5 foods or like 3 foods that I stocked up on for Snake Lady,
Hmm.
3 foods that I stocked up on for Gwen, and then
Popcorn?
Frogman just fucking ate everything.
Popcorn ate everything. Frogman, not popcorn. Yes.
Yeah, but popcorn and coffee kept Gwen happy. Just alternate
Uh-huh.
between them. They're both really cheap.
Yep. Yeah.
So I will say I was surprised by it, but I was also surprisingly engaged with it. Like I wouldn't,
Hmm.
like I have never gotten into Animal Crossing or Stardew Valley, so I don't think
Right.
I would normally be invested in that sort of gameplay loop. But I did find myself more often than not like getting into it. You know, trying to
Hmm.
stay on top of everything and make sure everybody's getting fed and
Yeah. I don't see myself like if I were to play the game by myself more, I would play it for like a few days, but it would get repetitive.
yeah.
Especially since I don't feel like there's really not that much like story at all.
So here's what I think. I think that there are like phases to the game. So hear me
Okay.
out. I think that starting out, it's a it's a lot of getting your boat upgraded. Like you'll
Mhm.
notice that we were already halfway through the boat upgrades, like in terms of size, before we had sent one person to the afterlife.
Mhm.
So I think that it's sort of offset. So it's staggered in a
Yeah.
way. So you do a lot
So
of boat
later in
investment,
game, you don't
and then
ever
they trickle
invest in the
in,
boat.
yeah, and then they trickle in character investment, and then after you're well underway with your boat, then they start hitting heavier with the character stuff.
Okay.
Um,
It it feels like we're still in a tutorial, and I know I said that a lot on the stream.
yeah, and part of that might have been the way we went about things.
Mm.
We went pretty far out trying to hit. Well, I don't know. It's a little tough because pretty
We just
quickly
went
the
to all the
characters
new
start asking
places.
for. Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
But I also started like seeking out oak because new places will
Right.
become available once you get near them. And so the farther out to the left that I went, the more new places there were. And that was just mostly because I was looking for oak.
Mhm. Found it.
Yeah, we did find it. We did find it. There might have been oak a lot closer that we might have found if we.
Yeah. Well, I also feel like we were given those quests and like upgrades that needed oak at that time because they knew that we were getting close to some oak.
Oh, maybe. Yeah. Yeah, maybe we were artificially accelerating things.
Yeah.
It's possible. But yeah, so right now, the gameplay loop is mostly revolved around the boat with minor character stuff. I have a feeling that once, I mean, I think it's coming. I think that the big character investment aspect
Mm.
of the
That
gameplay
would be
loop
cool.
is right around the corner. That's
Thesis
what it
online.
feels like. Okay, I'll send him a party invite and then all that. But yeah, so next stream we'll see if we can get into the heavy character stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then after Diesel gets in, I will talk about the next element.
Cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
I like it. I do.
Yeah. Oh, and the next thing I have is just a narrative. So, I mean, you start out, you're the new Spiritfarer. You got, you know, souls to
Mm-hmm.
ferry. And that's cool. It's interesting. And it's, I don't know, there's a lot of gravitas to the role at the very beginning. Like, he tells you this is big, important. And
Mm-hmm.
then that sort of like fades away as you go in. There's a bunch of
Mm-hmm.
spirits just chilling in town, not really worried about passing
Right.
on.
There's
It's a
not
little
any
bit
kind of
of,
urgency.
yeah, it's a little bit of a jarring contrast about, people are just sort of chilling here. And I think
Right.
that that is sort of trying to get you to feel like there's no rush. to get these people to pass on. Like it's got to be something that comes naturally,
Mm-hmm.
which is interesting. And so the narrative isn't something I feel like we have seen a lot of progression towards. So maybe next
Yeah.
week we'll have more to talk about. But right now,
Yeah.
it's really all I've got. I don't know about you.
No. Yeah. Kind of just a building game.
Yeah, kind of just a building game.
But
Hey, welcome, Diesel. We are wrapping up some of our thoughts on Spiritfarer, and then it'll be time to talk about Gears 5. For anybody who's not familiar, this is Diesel. This is a guy I play Gears with every week. He has just now joined the podcast. Say hello, Diesel.
hey, how's it going?
Going pretty good.
Good.
All right. Art and music, both nice. Neither like
I
blew me away like Ori or like Hollow Knight, but
right.
definitely nice.
I disagree.
Okay.
Um, I never noticed the music. Like, but
Oh,
maybe that's a good thing. I don't know. I didn't ever notice it. Like, I never like, oh wow, music. And the only time I really enjoyed the art was whenever we got wide shots of the boat.
oh, okay.
Because then I'm just looking at the character, and I didn't like the character design.
Interesting.
I don't know why. Something about it just throws me off. I don't like it.
Is it really a video game if there's not video game music?
Well, I think part of the thing was that we were trying to listen to the game coming through the speakers on my monitor from
Maybe
like
that was it.
kind of far
Okay.
Maybe
away.
I'm missing out on something amazing.
Yeah, maybe going back to it with headphones, which maybe, again, maybe playing on your own screen, trying out the multiplayer component might be worth checking out.
I don't want to.
All right, that's fine. But yeah, it's sitting kind of far away, so we can sit on the love seat, and then not being able
yeah.
to hear the music might have tainted our.
I'll pay attention for next time.
Okay.
I'll keep an ear out.
Some of the animations are a little funny, like getting to the top of a ladder or sliding down a ladder.
You just like turn into a turtle, or not a turtle, a frog.
Yeah, but it is also very charming. It like I almost thought that it was gonna have a little bit more furry flair to it than I was comfortable with when we first
Yeah.
met Gwen, but
Uh-huh.
it sort of mellowed out. Like I wasn't worried about it after, like
Yeah.
after that.
Like it makes sense now. Like there's a reason that they're all animals. They're not just
Right.
animals. Like that's who they are. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. It meshes well with their personality,
Right.
and it works well for the game. So overall, I'd say we're having a positive experience with it,
I am.
even if
I
we're
enjoy it.
caught off guard by more than a thing or two.
Right. I would recommend the game to someone like your mom or something.
Oh yeah. My mom is just now getting into video games, has picked up Stardew Valley, Night in the Woods, and Animal Crossing. So I think you're right. I think that might be up her alley. A little bit more
Yeah.
gamey, I think, than even Stardew Valley.
Oh, okay. That could be a good like introduction to more gamey games.
It could, if gamey games are what she wants to play.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
So, in the complete opposite direction of Spiritfarer, we have Gears of War 5. Actually, something that I noticed is that it actually is just Gears 5. It's like the only Gears of War game that isn't Gears of War. It's Gears, period.
Yep.
5,
It's just Gears.
which is kind of odd, but that's neither here nor there. Let's see. You and
Because
I...
it's just that badass.
Yeah. Don't even need all those other words. Too many syllables. Just straight to the point. Big men. Gears. You already know the rest. You don't need to hear it again. Let's see.
They just got upset because people kept like summing up like Gears of War 4. They would just call it Gears 4. I mean,
Right.
yeah, well, fuck you. We're gonna take away
It,
that part so you can't even say it.
it's because like
Couldn't even say it if you wanted
modern
to.
day gamers just want to be like, "Oh, I'm lazy. I'm lazy. Let's just call it Gears. Let's not call it Gears of War. We don't need those extra two words. We're lazy. We
Exactly.
just want to call it Gears."
Mm-hmm. Just tighten it up a little bit. So let's see. What was I gonna say? Oh, Diesel, you and I have said multiple times over the course of our playthrough of Gears 5 that we are enjoying it more than Gears 4, but
Yes.
usually there's a but involved in there, and then we talk about whatever it is we're struggling with at the time. But I think now is a good time to sort of talk about the major differences between the game that we've found and, explore if we really do actually like Gears 5 better than Gears 4. Uh,
Um,
so, go ahead.
I up to date, I like Gears 5 better than Gears 4. There's just certain aspects that I think need to be could be tweaked to make it like yes, it in my personal opinion, is it a better game than Gears 4? Gears of War 4? Yes. Are there some things that I don't like about the game? Yes. But like Gears 5, to the best of my knowledge, it doesn't have storms. So that's really nice.
Well, it has different kinds of storms, right? Because we had.
It does, but it doesn't have the storms where you just have to puzzle your way through to get to open a fucking door. Like it I guess what I'm trying to say is there are storms, but the
Not just storms for the sake
so
of storms. Like, they weren't just. Like, there wasn't a
yeah,
whole chapter of just storm. Like, usually there
yeah,
was something else going on, and it was a fun, like,
yeah,
set piece or.
yeah. You got it.
Cool. Yeah, so.
And
Oh, dude, I let my dog in here because he was whining at the door, and he just came in here to fart. That's all he wanted to do. Man. Anyways, continue, Diesel.
another thing I don't like about this is one thing I don't like about Gears 5 that I think Gears 4 actually did a little bit better. And again, this is probably just my personal opinion, but I don't like the free roam in Gears 5. I think if you're
Mm,
gonna do like a campaign for like a Gears of War game, it should just be like mission to mission. I don't like the free roam. Like, don't get me wrong, I like how you can pick up collectibles and all that. Like I like the system of picking up collectibles. I just don't like the free roam, how there's like a couple of hub areas in Gears 5.
yeah, it was a little odd. Um, Part of the reason that I think we had a negative experience with it was that we were on a time crunch for a lot of the game, and if we had the time to go do
Yeah.
the side quests, because that's part of the reason
Yeah.
why there were those areas, so that there were optional objectives, right? Are we going to help
Yeah.
out the local people? Are we going to go do this? But our answer was always no. And so
No.
the other thing that it did was add a bunch of extra travel time between our objectives. So you and I
Yeah.
were like already coming into it upset because it was just adding travel time, adding extra padding, and we were just trying to steamroll it. So if we were taking our time with it, we might have not been predisposed to be upset about it.
Yeah.
But as
That's
it
true.
stands for this playthrough, we were just pretty much ignoring the open world element.
Yeah. The one last thing I was gonna say just about Gears 5 is the um ice mechanic.
Ice.
It's bad. It's bad.
It was
The,
rough.
the,
We
the,
struggled a
the
lot with ice. I think we had probably upwards of like 2 hours of pain just dealing with ice. repeating content due to ice problems. Maybe 3 hours.
Yeah. Well, we got to the one spot where we had to clear out all those enemies, and then the moment that we were like, oh, it's a cover shooter, let's just take cover
Right.
behind like the only cover that's in this area. Drop shot, you're both dead.
Yeah.
I mean,
Here's what I think was cool about that encounter. Oh, hold on, I'm peeking a little bit. I'm kind of loud. The one thing I think that was cool about that encounter is once we got through, they let us turn around and return the favor to the enemies, right? They let us take out our aggression on these poor souls coming across the ice, and we got to shoot at the ice from underneath them. And it was cool.
Yeah.
And I feel like if we had just, I don't know, kept our cool and like gone through that whole segment in one sitting, we probably would have been fine. But stopping after we got angry because you had to go to work, and then, we came back to it a week later, and I had forgotten how to play the game. I forgot I had a revolver, so I had to relearn the game while we were getting overrun. So,
Well, not only that, it's just, I'm not gonna lie, right since we got to that section right before we basically had like 10 minutes before I had to go into work whenever we got to that section. And then it wasn't that made me mad. It was the fact that I also had to go into work, and then just no, actually, I take that back. I was super miffed once we both like just died from the ice. No, I was
Yeah.
super miffed. That was like the icing on top of the cake, more or less.
yeah,
I was like,
Haha,
no,
ice.
good one.
Mace, I wasn't even trying.
All right, so
Mace.
let's see. What is actually different between Gears 4 and 5? We have the open world element. We also have Jack, which I think is probably my favorite part about Gears 5. Having Jack as both a companion but also a set of abilities, I think is really good for the game. It feels nice and fresh.
What was that one? What was that one robot in the very first mission?
I don't know.
Was
It
it?
was like
Was it?
Alex or Lupert or Rupert or
I
Alfred.
don't
I don't
know.
know. Some other guy.
You kept saying you wanted to like to play the robot, and then we got through the first mission, and then he just like became Jack,
Yeah.
and I was just kind of like, so long to that guy.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of weird how they introduced us to one robot and then immediately after that, like, nah, fuck that guy. This is a real robot. I'll show you a robot.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's um really cool how they implemented the robot with like upgrades into the game, and how you have to have that robot because there are areas in the game where you cannot go without that robot. Like you have
Right.
to open up doors, pick up loot.
Yeah. Sometimes
So
it feels a little hand fisted, like they're making up a reason for you to use the robot.
mm,
But the thing I will say is that because he has his own skill trees that you have to level up to get the most out of his abilities and his kit, that gives you a gameplay reason to explore, right? Like I'm, checking every corner, not looking for those useless collectibles, but looking for those components so I can level up my boy.
hmm
That gives us a reason to go explore the open world if that was something we were interested in, right? Or like do side quests. It's like, oh, well, maybe we're gonna get some extra stuff for Jack, which is all really cool. I feel like this was a good game to introduce Jack.
yeah,
I like the abilities.
definitely.
It's there was a tutorial that said how to easily switch between his abilities, but I don't remember what the button is, so I always have to go into
We're
the menu
we're
to tell him
probably
between
going
his
too
abilities.
we're probably going too fast,
Yeah,
and just kind of like, oh, this is a tutorial. We don't need this tutorial.
right. And that kind of sucks because I usually end up leaving on one of the aim abilities. There's like flash, hack, and shock mine. And usually I just leave one of those on, even though I feel like it would be better to switch between them, just because I don't remember how.
It's also really cool that they implemented a like kind of stealthy way to approach Gears
Oh yeah,
like Gears gameplay in Gears 5 because of the jack ability that allows you to go invis.
yes. It is. It's a really standard ability that you'll see in all kinds of games, where killing enemies while an ability is active extends its duration, right? Super, super generic ability. But you throw that on Invis in a Gears of War game, and I'm losing my mind. I'm like, this is the best thing that's ever happened. I'm running around Invis, chainsawing everybody to death, and I'm having a blast. The only thing that sucks is that if you accidentally tap B and knife, it takes you out of Invis automatically, which
Yeah.
kind of sucks, but
Well, to be fair, the invis in a Gears game is a little overpowering, I feel like. But
it can be. I don't know. I mean, but so is invincibility button that can also revive people. Like Gears 5 is not
yeah,
a hard game for the most part until there's
for the most
environmental
part.
hazards, until you can get dropped into the ice or something
Yeah.
like that. Or if you're like crammed in a tiny room with a warden, then it starts being a problem.
Yeah, that section that was a pain. That section was a real pain.
Yeah.
Um
Okay, Diesel. How do you
yeah.
feel about the warden? Cuz I don't like that enemy. I don't like it personally.
It's interesting. I don't like it for the most part. The thing I like about honestly, the only good thing that I like about that enemy is that whenever you kill the warden, it drops a really nice weapon.
Yeah.
Um, but most of the reason why I don't like that enemy is because you can only attack its head. Um,
His tiny little head. Yeah. You can't shoot
yeah,
him from the back, you can't shoot him from the side. And if you're standing in front of him, that's where he is the most lethal.
yeah, and not only that, but really, if you want to put like some insane damage on him, the only way to do it is if you have like a heavy gun.
Right. Like a sniper
So
rifle or a revolver or like oh maybe the overkill's good, but you
the
gotta be
overkill's
close.
re- the overkill's really good for him, but you have to be really close, so it's really not that effective. Because if you're close, then you're
You're
just
gonna
gonna get
die.
one. Yeah.
Yeah. Alright. Let's see. Gears 5, major differences, story. How are you feeling about the story this time around, Diesel? Actually, hold on. Before you answer that, Mace,
Yes.
have you been watching the Gears streams?
If I say no, will you be mad at me?
No.
Then no.
Okay.
I mean, I have it playing, so I'll like catch some things
Okay. What do you think the story is? Do you have any
of
idea
Gears.
of Gears?
Well, so I played the first part of one of them, whichever one came with my Xbox.
Gears 4.
Yeah. I know that I was in a prison at one point in time, but I think I was just breaking some guy out because zombies came.
Oh, maybe that's not Gears 4. Diesel, does that sound familiar?
That sounds like that sounds like the first mission of Gears 5. That little tunnel where Zeb like rage quitted.
Yeah, but we dropped in from a helicopter.
Yeah, that's true. So maybe not. I don't know. That
I don't remember how Gears 4 starts. I don't remember Gears 4.
I I've had concussions. It's
the
been
the
a while. Maybe it could just not even it could have been a dream I had one time. I have no idea
a,
how true
a,
this is.
to be fair, the only thing I remember from Gears 4 was there's one section in Chapter 3 or not chapter 3, act 3, that is like pivotal for the like story, and
Oh,
then the only other thing I remember is us killing the final boss with mechs.
gotcha. Yeah.
So
So here's the thing: the beginning of Gears 4 is so disjointed, dude. I just remember this. So the beginning of Gears 4, remember, is there's like a military thing going on. Like
yep,
it's nighttime. There's like big artillery guns. We got to break into this military base and then defend it. But then it like time
yep,
jumps to a different place, and we're on like the beaches of Normandy, but everything's red. And then like some super weapon goes off and it ends the war. And then it jumps to that other place, and we're breaking into that town to get a replicator.
yeah,
And
yeah.
then we go defend our town with the replicator, but then it turns out that's actually not what any of the game's about. The game's about the swarm, and then our village gets kidnapped. So,
Yeah.
the beginning of Gears 4 is one hell of a ride. It doesn't make any sense to me why it's laid out that way.
So it's
Um,
not my fault that I don't know how it
no,
goes.
it definitely
I
doesn't help that you've
It's
had a
just
concussion
bad.
since then. But
I also have an opinion about Gears 4, and that is that Snatchers and Gears 4 are worse than the Storms.
you have a really bad problem with snatchers.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I haven't had an issue with Snatchers on Gears 5 at
Yes, you
all.
have. I have a clip of you having a lot of trouble with a snatcher
Okay,
in Gears
that
5.
one time. And then but every single time there was a Snatcher in Gears 4, it always came after me. It never came after fucking you.
Yeah.
It was just me.
So, that's actually a really good segue into the next thing that I wanted to talk about. We'll circle back around to the story. But I got a subscription for Adobe Premiere Pro, which means that I can start editing some of my own content together. The first thing I'm gonna do is cut the Overcooked 2 stream down into a little like bite-sized highlight reel because I think that'll be a lot of fun. But then the thing that I want to do, Diesel, is edit our entire Gears saga down into a Let's Play video. I want to edit the whole thing into
Oh
one
God.
video that's only like 15 minutes long that documents our struggle through Gears 4 and 5.
Okay.
I
Um,
It's going to be a big project, but I think that'd be a lot of fun. There's a lot of stuff there. There's a whole lot.
yeah, there's so many good clips that you've made. It's so good.
I feel like it'd be
Like,
a good introduction into the channel because you and I we talk about our Gear stream a lot on Twitch. Like whenever you and
yeah,
I are on Twitch together, we're talking about the Gear stream or we're streaming Gears. So
yeah,
having that relic, like having that video, like a document of like a short, bite-sized piece of
mm,
evidence of what happened, I think would be good for the channel.
yeah,
Something that I could point to
definitely.
people that are new coming in. But yeah. Oh, so the story. Diesel, do you? How do I say this? Do you feel like you're getting? How have your thoughts on the story changed since Gears 4? Now that we are well into Gears 5, or have they changed at all?
They've changed a little bit, not much. Um, I really didn't like the ending of Gears 4, but I understand now why the ending happened in Gears 4 because that kind of like makes way for certain mechanics of certain fights for Gears 5, if that makes sense.
Elaborate. What do you mean by that?
So, um, anybody watching this is gonna be a little bit of spoilers, but
For something we've already
Gears,
spoiled on stream for the Gears
Yeah,
games.
Gears 4. Kate, she's one of the playable characters. Her mother dies, and she's like she's basically, so she dies at the end, and then in Gears 5, she has like all of this, like, she has a basically PTSD or traumatic events going on since her mother just died, and it kind of makes it to where, um, in like one of the boss fights we did with the Patriarch in Gears 5, there is a point where Kate will actually be getting like visions. Like, she's getting visions throughout the entire playthrough of um her mom, and like basically she can see since her mom was, I guess, embedded within inside the swarm or horde or whatnot, whatever you want to call it. She's like, she's got that little necklace too that's kind of like giving her telepathy or something. I don't know. Anyways, what I'm saying is, in order for you to have that mechanic where Kate won't be able to attack for a certain period of time, that part in Gears 4 had to happen. So
I see. I see what you're saying.
do I understand? Do I like the ending of Gears 4 still? No. But do I think Gears 5 is doing a better job of telling the story than Gears 4 did? Probably.
Gotcha. Yeah, I can see
So,
that. It's what's happening with this important character's mother isn't just like a cutscene event, right? Like this
yeah.
character's emotional experience actually has gameplay consequences now in Gears 5, where I have to rely on my co-op partner. Like I have to tell Diesel,
Mm-hmm.
"Hey, I'm having a vision. I can't see the ice. Please don't shoot it out from underneath me." And he's like, "Oh man, all right, and I'll do my best."
Yeah.
Uh, in
I
that
should
sense, yeah,
I
I see
should
where you're coming from.
I, I should have just shouted out from underneath you.
No, please, my mom just died.
Oh man.
It does kind of suck that it's fairly limited. Like the point to where it actually affects gameplay is only in that one boss fight for the most part.
For the
Other
most
than
part,
that,
but
it's just in sort of like
they're
transitory sequences where like we're going in between areas and I have a vision and I'm like, "Hey Diesel, by the way, my screen's red." And you go, all right, whatever. And then we go about our day.
yeah, there was also the part where you decided that you were going to like take control of
Oh,
a
that's
warden
true.
and try to kill me.
Right, yeah, and then
And
I actually end up killing my uncle because of that, right? And that's also very interesting. Actually, I do want to go back to that because I forgot that that happened in the first stream. I do think that it's very interesting that when you have two co-op players playing together, and you give one of them the ability to control the enemy forces, there's a good chance they might start shooting at their friend for fun. And then all of a sudden you have narrative consequence that you can take from that experience. Um,
yeah.
that was, yeah,
if you get if you guys ever play with Skinny on Gears,
you're gonna die. I will kill you.
just whenever he says, "Hey, come here. Hey, come here." Just don't listen. Do not listen.
Oh, hey, I found something over here.
Yeah, and then yeah, I remember that. Trust me, I remember that.
And you guys never learn. I think I've gotten every single one of you with that trick. Works every time.
At least once.
At least once. Mace and Sea of Thieves. I do it to Zabs in every game.
Don't even talk about Sea of Thieves. That makes me so mad.
That'd be another. Oh, you know what? I need to do an edited series for Sea of Thieves also because that was fun.
I want to play Sea of Thieves again. I had a good time. Can I say something about storylines and shooter games like that?
Absolutely, I have very strong
They
opinions
make
about
me mad.
storylines and shooter games myself.
They make me very mad.
Why is that?
They're all the same.
Yeah.
And like you don't need to know what's going on at all. Y- You don't need to pay attention to storyline because it's just you see like oh a little cutscene, little storyline. Then now you're in a mission just like the last mission you were in. And the storyline doesn't have much to do with what you're doing.
Right. It's mostly just set dressing.
Right, and then like maybe like you'll have like a little dialogue in the mission, but it's stupid because you it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all.
Yeah.
See, Mace, this is why I play From Software games.
I don't know what that means, but cool,
Dark
yeah.
Souls.
Oh, okay, right. Sure.
Yeah. Well, so I wrote. I mean, Mace, you know this. I wrote like a thing about that exact problem in Destiny. Destiny has
Right.
this.
Uh-huh.
I feel like has a very extreme case of this problem because the set dressing of the Destiny universe is very extensive. There's a lot of lore and world building that goes into the Destiny universe, but the gameplay for the most part is pretty samey. Like it's just go shoot bad guy die.
Right.
No matter
Right.
how much background or hype or like world building we've given this particular bad guy, it's the same thing. We just go, we shoot, they die.
But especially in Destiny, all the lore is on a different website. It's not
Yeah,
even
for
in the
Destiny 1.
game.
Yeah. Destiny 2, they actually put it in the game, but it's all just text,
Oh,
right?
okay,
Like,
that's
it's not
nice. Right.
related to my gameplay. It's not related to my
Uh-huh.
shooting experience.
And
Which
that's
is
what
why,
Dark Souls did, which I didn't like a whole bunch. All the
yeah.
lore is like in the weapons, it's all text and stuff.
Well, yes. However, comma, in Dark Souls, that's also how you like that's how you learn how to defeat certain bosses or how you learn that
Right.
certain gameplay mechanics exist is through also reading those same descriptions. So reading gives me both like world and story insight as well as gameplay insight.
Yeah, I never did that.
Well, that's because everybody else
I
already
just,
did and told you.
I know. People just told me how to play.
Yeah, so that's fair. Um, that's kind of why I like some of what Gears 5 did. Like like having there be story beats revolved around the choices that I make with how I
Uh-huh.
shoot. That is interesting, and it was still very limited in Gears 5. It has been extremely limited. There was only like one or two examples, but the fact that they exist at all is nice.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So let's see. Oh yeah, Diesel. So we should be on track to finish Gears 5 this Monday. You still up for that,
Yep.
Diesel? Monday at like 2:30, whatever it is that we do my time.
Yep.
Cool.
Well, technically it'll be 2 or 2:30 my time and like 12:30 your time.
Okay, we might have to reschedule from the normal time then, because I have a doctor's appointment at 1 that lasts for about 45 minutes.
Okay.
So
Um,
we'll figure something out. Might have to move it around in the week, but that saga should be ending soon, and then I will start putting together a like an edited, condensed best of moments. from
Montage.
that. Yeah, montage.
yeah.
Montage.
So speaking of which, streams that are coming up. Dungeon of the Endless tomorrow is sort of a it's like a I don't want to say 8-bit definitively because it's like 8 or 16. It's like pixel art, dungeon
Ugh.
crawler roguelike. It should be kind of fun, simple, and just an opportunity for us to play a new game together, which I like doing. Let's see, more Gears and Spiritfarer next week.
Ow, ow. Yeah.
Mason and I will be playing on Tuesday at our normal time. Diesel and I will figure out a time for the Gears 5 stream. Zabs and I will finally play another game together. We're going to play Man of Medan, a spooky game. Is a little late. Missed Halloween a little bit. I wasn't feeling well. Sorry we didn't get around to it on Halloween, but it is coming. The co-op playthrough of Man of Medan with Zabs. And then I'm not exactly sure what the next single-player game I want to play on stream is. I
I
saw
know.
that, what?
East Shade.
East Shade could be something that I do. Mace has just
Oh,
recently finished it and was saying that that's something I should check out. So it's definitely on my radar. What's up, Dixel?
I was gonna say, don't know when I'm gonna get it because I'm still working on the Sekiro playthrough. But eventually, if they have a Christmas sale on Crash 4, I plan on streaming my first playthrough of that. So
Oh, that'd be fun. I would host. I'd host that.
sweet.
And then, did I say that Black recently got added to Game Pass and that was a game I wanted to try out?
I have never heard of that.
It's an old original Xbox game.
Ah.
And so that looked like fun. That was something I wanted to check out. But there's a lot of single player games on Game Pass, so I'll figure something out. But if you guys have any feedback or any ideas, definitely let me know. And then I still have not played a co-op game with Evan on stream. We still have not played Minecraft Dungeons
Wow.
or Wasteland. Those are two games that
Damn.
Crazy and I have been meaning to play together on stream, and we just haven't gotten around to it.
I thought you
Yeah.
were doing dungeons with Cordell.
No. Well, I haven't done with anyone. But Evan is the one who bugs me the most to play it with him on stream.
I see.
And Wasteland is also a series that I think would be right up Crazy's alley, and I'd love to stream it with him. But he might stream it on his own once he has free time and finishes once he, how does the sentence go? Finishes getting his stream set up.
Wow.
Once he is set up, he might stream Wasteland. Sorry that took me
Once
so
his
long.
stream
Goodness.
setup is ready,
Yes.
is put up.
Once his setup is put up.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Once I get Sekiro finished, before we do that Bloodborne Chalice Dungeons, I do want to end up setting up my PC.
Oh, yes. I sold Diesel a PC like 2 years ago, and he still hasn't gotten it set up yet.
Well, I'm sorry that I work night shift and am not on the same schedule as everybody.
That's all right. But yes, we do need to get that set up for you, because that will be a solid stream machine for you. That will stream things.
Yep.
Let's see. But yeah, mostly just keep an eye out for edited content going up on the YouTube channel once I finally get the hang of Premiere. Oh, and also, it has been... I mean, there's a bunch of games that we've all played together that we really like to play together, and there's great moments that happen when we're playing together, and it's a blast. But we want to keep streaming these games, like Overcooked, Sea of Thieves, not Dwarf Fortress, what's it called? Deep Rock Galactic. But there's not always room in the week to play these games, so I'm considering recording us just playing them in our free time. Like whenever we all have time to get together, I'd just plug in my capture software and record our play session, and then cutting it down and uploading it to YouTube. So hopefully we will have some more of those like party game instances going up, but you might not see them on the Twitch channel. That's something that I will let you guys know more about in the future, but just wanted you guys to know that that's on my radar.
Cool.
Yeah, I think that might be fun, because we play a lot of games in like short 1 to 2 hour segments, or we could at least. We could play a lot of games in 1 to 2 hour segments, and then throw those sessions up, or maybe cut them down, edit out, the slurs, and it'd be fun. Let's see. Yeah, that's all I've got as far as notes go. Diesel, how's your week?
Wow.
That was good.
Cool. All right.
Made a lot of progress on Sekiro. So.
Oh, you did. That's awesome. Zabs has still not made any progress on Bloodborne, so you're doing way better than he is.
Yeah. I kind of figured that much. I mean, considering just remembering how I was able to make a lot more progress on Bloodborne than you were able to whenever you first went and did a Bloodborne playthrough. I just kind of assumed that Zab would have a not fun time on Bloodborne.
Yeah, I don't know. The introduction to Bloodborne is really rough, and if you
Yeah,
don't get over that really aggressive learning curve, then it's
I
probably gonna
will
take
say
another time, another day, another mindset to get through it.
it takes it's like the very first 3 or 4 areas of that game is like really rough if you've played all the other Souls games. And then once you get past those first 3 or 4 areas, then you're fine.
Yeah.
Yep,
All
that's all
right.
I have.
Yeah. Mace, I asked you how your week was at the beginning. Diesel, I asked you at the end, so
Nice. It's
I'm not
fitting.
gonna ask you again. So yeah, make sure you guys stop by, join the Discord. Check out our Twitch streams, check out the YouTube channel. I've got a website where I occasionally write almost insightful things.
Mm.
You're not
Yeah.
insightful.
Oh, and make sure you check out Bird Calls. Check out his music. It's been playing in the background. I love his music. He's a good friend of mine. Please go check it out. He's awesome for letting me use his music for this podcast. And yeah, that concludes another weekly podcast. Everybody, say bye,
Uh,
Bye.
and I will see you next time. Peace out.